What is the primary EU legislation that Italy complies with for data protection and privacy? A. The Italian Privacy Code. B. The General Data Protection Regulation, GDPR. C. The EU Data Protection Directive. D. The e-Privacy Directive. Correct answer. B. The General Data Protection Regulation, GDPR. What legislative decree did Italy issue to align its national data protection framework with the GDPR? A. Legislative Decree 196/2003. B. Legislative Decree 101/2018. C. Legislative Decree 50/2018. D. Legislative Decree 231/2001. Correct answer. B. Legislative Decree 101/2018. Which of the following is not a principle of data processing under the GDPR and Italy's Privacy Code? A. Data minimization. B. Lawfulness, fairness, and transparency. C. Mandatory data storage. D. Protection against unauthorized access. Correct answer. C. Mandatory data storage. Under the GDPR, which right allows individuals to have their personal data erased under certain conditions? A. Right to be informed. B. Right to data portability. C. Right to erasure. D. Right to restrict processing. Correct answer. C. Right to erasure. What approach does the Italian Data Protection Authority enforce for the use of cookies and tracking tools? A. Opt-out. B. Opt-in. Mandatory acceptance. D. No specific guidelines provided. Correct answer. B. Opt-in. According to the Italian Data Protection Authority, can continuing to browse a website be considered valid consent for cookies? A. Yes. In all cases. B. Yes, but only with explicit notice. C. No, it cannot be considered as valid consent. D. Yes, but only for non-essential cookies. Correct answer. C. No, it cannot be considered as valid consent. Which of the following is true about the extraterritorial effect of the GDPR? A. It applies only within the EU. B. It applies to EU citizens worldwide. C. It affects organizations outside the EU processing personal data of EU residents. D. It is limited to the digital market. Correct answer. C. It affects organizations outside the EU processing personal data of EU residents. What does the GDPR encourage among EU member states for consistent interpretation? A. National amendments. B. Guidelines issued by the European Data Protection Board. C. Independent national supervisory authorities. D. Country-specific privacy laws. Correct answer. B. Guidelines issued by the European Data Protection Board. Under GDPR, what must organizations obtain from users before deploying cookies and tracking tools? A. Written consent. B. Implied consent. C. Verbal consent. D. Explicit consent. Correct answer. D. Explicit consent. What does the Legislative Decree 196/2003, also known as, within the context of Italian data protection laws? A. The General Data Protection Regulation. B. The e-Privacy Directive. C. The Italian Privacy Code. The EU Data Protection Directive. Correct answer. C. The Italian Privacy Code. Which right under the GDPR allows individuals to receive their personal data in a structured, commonly used format? A. Right to access. B. Right to data portability. C. Right to rectification. D. Right to object. Correct answer. B. Right to data portability. How does the GDPR classify the requirement for processing personal data for specific, explicit, and legitimate purposes? A. As a recommendation. B. As a principle of data processing. C. As a secondary guideline. D. As an optional measure. Correct answer. B. As a principle of data processing. Which entity is responsible for enforcing data protection laws in Italy? A. The Italian Data Protection Authority, garant per la protezione dei dati personali. B. The European Data Protection Board. C. The Italian Parliament. D. The European Commission. Correct answer. A. The Italian Data Protection Authority, garant per la protezione dei dati personali. What mechanism should be provided to users to manage their consent for cookies according to the garant? A. An email confirmation system. B. A consent management platform. C. A physical consent form. D. Mandatory registration on websites. Correct answer. B. A consent management platform. Under what condition can personal data be processed according to GDPR and Italy's Privacy Code? A. Without any specific purpose. B. Based on the data subject's consent. C. Without informing the data subject. D. For any purpose deemed necessary by the processor. Correct answer. B. Based on the data subject's consent. What is the significance of the right to object under the GDPR? A. It allows data subjects to prevent data processing for marketing. B. It mandates automatic data erasure requests. C. It requires data subjects to provide a reason for data processing. D. It allows unrestricted access to personal data by data subjects. Correct answer. A. It allows data subjects to prevent data processing for marketing. How does the Italian Privacy Code modify its provisions to comply with the GDPR? A. By restricting data processing to Italian citizens. B. By implementing stricter penalties than the GDPR. C. By amending existing laws to ensure compliance with GDPR. D. By limiting the scope of the GDPR within Italy. Correct answer. C. By amending existing laws to ensure compliance with GDPR. Which of the following accurately describes the process for withdrawing consent under GDPR in Italy? A. Consent cannot be withdrawn once given. B. Withdrawal of consent must be as easy as giving etc. Consent withdrawal is only possible within the first month. D. Withdrawing consent requires payment of a fee. Correct answer. B. Withdrawal of consent must be as easy as giving it. What does the GDPR state about the security of personal data? A. Data must be stored indefinitely for security. B. Security measures are optional and at the discretion of the data controller. C. Appropriate security measures must protect data against unauthorized access. D. Security measures apply only to sensitive data. Correct answer. C. Appropriate security measures must protect data against unauthorized access.